Yes, yes. Now we can discuss about one of the good topic in information technology, that is code faster and better. How to code faster and better in information technology relating to programming. In programming, one methodology also should be there, and we should code faster and better way with these five simple hacks. What are those? We can discuss now. In today's generation, everyone wants to become a programmer. That means not everyone, those who are interested in IT sector. If you want to stand out from the crowd, you have to follow something which everyone is not following. Habits can bring success. Here are five worthy habits to invest in into write cleaner and smarter code with less effort. So, what are the five simple hacks are? Number one is frequent testing and debugging. Some programmers debug after the first prototype or draft is ready, but some bugs are so tiny and difficult to spot that you have to go back and revise every little segment of the code. This becomes very time consuming and frustrating. An effective programmer tests the code as he is building it. And second hack is for faster coding. Organizing codes is the key. Before you begin coding, create a mind map and segment the project into different tasks and folders. Have different scripts for different functions. This way, you won't have to scroll up and down 1,000 times. Create different files for animation, design, interface, extensions, etc. Maintain multiple folders for different formats like images, JS, JavaScript, and CSS. CSS means cascading style sheet files, animation, etc. And what are that? Leave comments on code everywhere. Suppose if you are doing in programming or coding means in the top one hash mark or star mark if you give in the comments mark if you give, then that block will be considered as for that particular purpose, for indexing purpose or for entry purpose or all these things, and entry, modify, delete, view, print, what you are doing with that block of programming. If you write it, it is easy to understand for testing also, and at the time of testing if any errors comes, you can easily go there and you can update it. So uh, leave comments on code everywhere. Everywhere means not for every line, for 10 lines of coding and 20 lines of coding according to the purpose. I am also writing in the same way while I was doing in stats programming. So leaving comments will be useful to you only. One program is over. After 6 months or 1 year, again it will come for revision or for update. That time, how you can understand it? If coding is there, if comment is there for every coding uh, set of coding, comments are there means it is easy to understand. So, suppose after 6 months or 1 year, again your programming program will come into review for update or for enhancements by the customer. Then you can see easily where the code and what to do. So leaving comments on code everywhere is most important. I also did in the same way in stunts programming. So I am comfortable and I enjoyed the programming also. So this is the information. Again, we can discuss about this. Commenting on all your code may seem like a very mundane activity when you are in a when you are in your zone and flow of coding. But once you go back to that code, you might end up not understanding your and flow of coding, and you might end up not understanding your coding, and it becomes a nightmare. For this very reason, effective programmers leave comments everywhere. This gives you a brief gist about what a particular function does or why did you write that line in the first place. This reduces the number of bugs and makes debugging faster. Write people friendly code. Write people friendly code. It is also most important. That is also I experience it because variable names setting variable. Suppose you are using one variables, you are setting variables. That variables should be universal. Universal means in your programming team, project team, you should discuss what variables, what names should be there, prefixes and suffixes, and the naming conventions are in the friendly manner. That means your programming is over, you did well, and it is over. After 2 or 3 years, again it comes to that matter to enhancements and all these means. If you, it is friendly code means you can understand the same synopsis of prefixes of the naming conventions and suffixes and variable settings and names are in the same manner. They can understand easily it is related to something, so we can have a recode again. So that people friendly coding is most important. The code you are writing it, why I am saying friendly means your project team has to discuss what is the fundamentals and mannerisms we are behaviors we are using, the restrictions of coding, naming conventions and all these things. If you discuss and if you are giving the same coding variables, it is easy to understand everyone. Write people friendly code. The code you are writing it for yourself, and you may have to come back it several times. Suppose even yourself is also one shortcut code for running means it will run that time. Further times you cannot understand what is that variable, how to understand it. So friendly coding is most important. Code in a way that you and your test teammates don't get confused as to what to do next. That is I am saying. Before starting the programming, decide the naming conventions, have different prefixes for different conventions so that it becomes easier to find them. Use arrays and loops in the coding process. This saves a lot of time as you don't have to write each line separately. That is the information. And fifth hack, that is in faster coding, code faster and better. In these simple 5 hacks, fifth one is share codes on public platforms. How you can share codes on public platforms means, suppose you are doing a programming means in comments at the top of the program, it should be there. This program coding is for the purpose of that entry or modify or delete or view or print or browse or view or list, whatever it may be. That comment is there means you should be easy to share codes also on a public platform. That is it. Sharing code with the world on platforms like GitHub comes with a lot of benefits. It is a great platform to learn on the go. You can get great insights from others who may be very way some experienced. Plus, your code will be in a safe place where you can never lose it. When you are posting about your project in parts, the social pressure makes you feel more accountable to complete it on time. These are the 5 principles most important to every coding, every programmer. If you maintain all these 5 simple hacks, your program will be successful forever and ever also. Because always the programmer will think, negative thinking should not be there. Suppose you are doing one programming means, if after 5 years, suppose you may not be there in that seat and you may be anywhere and in any company also, that your program coding is 5 years back of coding of your program will be reviewed by any other person for enhancements and updates. In future, that program code should be user friendly, and as well as that system also should be understanding. So comments should be very important, and it should be useful to all other those who are doing, a new person is also doing that program means by seeing the comments itself, in the program beginning itself, the comments are there, and every coding snippet, comments are there means he will understand this coding is done, he did for this purpose and he did for this purpose, then he will understand it. And variables are also not so different, so ID code. So you can give QQQ also you can give as a variable, but that will be useful to you. For others, how they will understand it. So ID, what ID? This is department ID, that is index ID, whatever it is. If you write it variables also in the standard reserved manner, that is easy to understand others, then your program will be successful forever and ever also. So every programmer should be broad in mind, and he should do what in the next time also. If any one person can see, he can easily understand and trace it out. That way, if every programmer is doing, the IT sector will be fruitful forever and ever. So your programming will not be sufficient to you at this time. In this time, your program is sufficient for you and for that purpose. After couple of years, the client may have another thoughts and updating and new enhancements will come. That time, if you see the program, you should be easily understand to all other people also easily. In such a manner, you should be there. So programmers should not be congested. They should think in a broad way and do the programming in a simple way. It should be easy to understand every person after you are there in the seat also. So you are not permanent in the lifetime. So always changes will come. Suppose you are a programmer now. Now after 10 years you may be delivery head. After 10 years you may be a director. That time you cannot sit and code all things. So another person will take the seat of your 10 years back of seat for updations and all these things. So he should easily understand everything. Then he can update it very well. So always programmers should not have congested mind and crooked mind. Always they should think very broadly, and then only it will be successful to all of you, and a friendly manner should be there, and a reserved naming conventions, that project should maintain, and comments should be in every block of coding snippets, comments should be there. Then every person after your coming, they can easily understand it and update it and enhance the same, and it will be successful to the client and to the company and to the organization also. So wishing you all the best, and be careful and be broad, having broad mind in programming also, then it will be successful to you and to your further generations also. Wishing you all the best. May God bless you.